Hey y'all, welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. On Monday, I made some cheesy potato soup that I topped with some bacon and some dried chives, and I served it with some rolls. I made a whole recipe video on this that should be up soon, so be on the lookout. On Tuesday, I made a chicken pot pie, so I started off with a rotisserie chicken just to save some time, and I removed the bones and the skin, and I just shredded it up. And now on to the filling. I just melted some butter. And then I added in my flour and I gave that a good whisk. This is the base of the sauce and this is what's going to make it thicken up later. So then I slowly added in my chicken broth. And then I just let that come up to a boil so that it could thicken. And then I added in some milk. And then for my seasonings, I have some lemon pepper, black pepper, garlic salt, and some poultry seasoning. So I just add all that in and stir it around really good. And then I'm going to toss back in that shredded rotisserie chicken along with a whole bag of frozen mixed veggies. So that's it for the filling. So now on to the pie crust. I am using a cast iron skillet and I did spray that with some Pam, or you could just rub around some vegetable oil. But I laid down that first piece of the pie crust and then I added in my filling. Then I put the other piece on and I just kind of folded it underneath and then I pinched the sides together so that nothing would leak out. And then I cut 4 little slits in the top of the pie crust so that it could steam while it's cooking. And then I just brushed on a egg wash. This is what's going to make it golden brown. And then I popped that in the oven at 350 for 45 minutes. So here's Josh's plate. He had mashed potatoes with his. It's just the little individual cups of the Bob Evans mashed potatoes. And then I had strawberries with mine. This is such a delicious recipe. I've made it before and it always turns out so good. I will definitely have this linked in my description box. On Wednesday, we just had some big old salads topped with some chicken tenders. So for the chicken, I'm just using some frozen kind that I found at my local grocery store. And I just cooked those in the air fryer at 400 for about 10 minutes. And I just chopped that up and put it on top of the salad. So of course there's lettuce. And then we had some cheese, bacon bits, croutons. And I did end up drizzling it with some ranch. But there's also some cucumbers and tomatoes. So simple, but so good. Definitely one of our favorites. On a Thursday, I made some pizza sliders and I served it with some cucumber slices with some whipped cream cheese and also some fries. So the pizza sliders were delicious, but there's definitely some things that I would change next time. So first off, I would cut the butter and seasonings in half because I had a lot left over that I had to refrigerate. And then I would use garlic powder instead of garlic salt because it was a little on the salty side. And I would bake it for longer because the middle was a little bit cool. But I'm going to show you how I put these together. So here I made some really delicious pork chops. All I did was take my pork chops and I let those marinate for several hours in this Baja Chipotle marinated by Laurie's. So good. This is my first time that I did it on pork and it turned out amazing. All I did was cook it in some olive oil in my skillet and that was it. So flavorful. And then I served it with some pasta salad. I'm just using the Betty Crocker boxed creamy Parmesan salad. I've showed this a few times before. We really like it. And then I served it with some steamed asparagus and that was our dinner for Friday. So I had actually planned leftovers for today, but there was none, so I just had to come up with something with things that I had in my pantry. And I have been wanting to try this recipe for a long time now, but I've just never done it. But it's called Brunswick stew. So right now I just have a pound of ground beef browning, and I'm going to go ahead and season it up with some onion powder. The recipe calls for an onion, but as a lot of you know, I don't like onions, so using the powder. And I'm just cooking it in my Kasori cooker, but you could definitely do this on the stovetop. But once this finishes cooking, I'm going to drain off all that grease, and then I'm going to come back and show you what I add to it. Okay, so I've just drained the grease from my ground beef, and I'm just going to add that back in. Along with a can of corn, and I have drained this. And then the recipe called for crushed tomatoes, but I just had a can of tomato sauce in my pantry, so that's what I'm going to be using. And then a can of these pinto beans seasoned with pork. And I didn't drain these. I'm leaving all of the juices in. Let me get a spoon. And then I'm going to add in 1 potato that I just peeled and diced. Along with 2.5 cups of beef broth. And then for the last ingredient, we're going to be adding some barbecue sauce. So I'm going to be using half a bottle, and I have a mixture of 2, just trying to use up what I have in my fridge. And now I'm just going to stir all of that to combine. And then I'm going to let this come up to a boil. And then I'll probably turn it down to simmer for about 30 minutes just so that the potato can get tender. And then I will serve it up. I served it with some saltine crackers. I did end up crushing those and kind of stirring them all together. But this was so good. Like, I loved the barbecue flavor. It was really different and interesting. I would definitely make this again. On Sunday, we were gone all day riding some trails, so we packed a picnic, and we had some bologna and cheese sandwiches with some baked chips, some no-bake peanut butter cookies, and some fruit with fruit dip. But that wraps up this week. I hope you enjoyed the video and got some different ideas. If you're new here, don't forget to tap that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.